Alright guys, so we're going to be going over a workshop 3-part. Take a minute, open up your SolidWorks, open up the workshop 3-part from the tiny URL we sent you. Once you have it open, click on the white sheet or just create a new part, parts file, and begin. So, when we begin, first thing we do is check what units we're going to use. Millimeters, grams, seconds, mmgs. So bottom right corner of your SolidWorks screen, you have this mmgs. So I'm already in mmgs, ready to go. Next thing you do is you apply the material. Edit material, right click on material, edit material, and then you're gonna open it in the steel file that opens up. You're gonna click on AISI 1020, apply, and close the screen. So my SolidWorks is being a little crazy right now and doesn't want to actually apply it, but you should be able to do it just like that. Very simple. Now, I know what I said about the about having the letters in your dimensions, but so we're gonna use equations. Right click on equations, manage equations, add global variable, capital A, enter value of 50. Then we're going to use capital B, enter value of 70. Okay. So now we're going to click on your sketch tab, sketch tool. We're going to start off on the front plane. Alright, very simple. Corner rectangle from the origin. Boom. Now we're going to use the Smart Dimension tool. The top has a dimension of 67 millimeters. And the right hand side is equal to B. So remember to click equals B, click on the global variable and select. There we go. Features, extrude boss base. We're going to extrude it a distance of A. So equals A. Click on the global variable and green check mark. Okay. We're starting on a good path. Now, next thing we're going to do is going to sketch the little X configuration that's on it. So sketch tool, and we're going to click on that front face. Click spacebar and click on your front face so you can look at it perfectly. Alright, there we go. So go to your lines tool, center line, and make an X from corner to corner with the center line. You might hear me call this sometimes construction line. That's just because when you draw a center line, it doesn't actually pop up when you boss extrude or cut extrude, but it helps you dimension and it helps you do it anything else that you need to do. Make sure you click on the origin or on the actual corner. There we go. Okay, so it's all. You have to have your four edges have to be coincident. All right, there we go. Now we're going to be using a new tool. In your sketch tabs, next to trim entities, next to convert entities, we have something called offset entities. We're going to be using that. So click on offset entities and click on both edges, both construction lines. Okay, now in your properties table that comes up, click on bidirectional. Alright, so now it's gonna offset that construction line into a line that we could actually extrude, but we're gonna, if this is offsetting it 10 millimeters and we need it to be 4.8. 4.8 millimeters. There we go. See, so it offsets each line 4.8 millimeters to the left or right of the construction line. So for a total of 9.6. That's the exact width of our X. Green check mark. There we go. Now we're not done yet. Now we're going to use the Convert Entities tool. And we're going to click on each edge of the design. Alright. We're almost done with this part. So click on Trim Entities. And now we're going to carefully trim all these exterior pieces that we don't want. Be careful not to delete or trim off any of the edges, because we do want these edges. But we don't want this right here, this section in the middle, we don't want that. So we're going to trim that off as well. Alright, there we go. Now we have a good X, but pay close attention. We have this little square lines here. We don't want those. Alright, so again, trim carefully without deleting anything else but these little corner intersections right there. Alright, there we go. Perfect X. Very easy, very simple. If you're having trouble keeping up, just pause the video and get it done. So we have our X. We're gonna go to our Features tab, Extruded Cut. 1.5 millimeters. Make sure your cut is going in. Yep. Alright. Green check mark. There we go. We got our X. Now, our next sketch is going to be on the right face. So click on Sketch, Sketch tab, Sketch tool, and click on the right face. Now we're on it, and make sure you're looking at your right face nice and parallel, nice and perpendicular. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to draw two squares coincident to this edge. Okay, and one circle. Alright, make sure it doesn't connect to any corner point to this rectangle, but that it does overlap it. You're gonna see why in a minute. Alright, so it's from our dimension tool, and we're just gonna start dimensionalizing it. So from the center of the circle to the bottom line, that's going to be 27 millimeters. From the center of the circle, there we go. All right, to the edge, to the left edge of the design, again 27 millimeters. All right, and now this rectangle from the one more thing, the diameter of the circle is 38. All right, circle is fully dimensioned. Now we're gonna work on the square. So from the bottom edge to the bottom line of the design is going to be 17.5. And the actual height from this edge to this edge is 19. Now we don't have anything else to dimension that square, so we're gonna use the Trim Entities And we're going to trim off any of the excess that we don't have an actual, like, oh, you see? Told you to be careful. I messed up and I accidentally trimmed this off right here. So that's really easy to fix. Just grab your line tool and connect the last two lines. Boom. Boom. There we go. Now it should be fully dimensioned. We're good on that. Now we're gonna dimension that top little tab. So again, from this top line to the top edge should be 12.5. The actual width of your design of this tab design is 3.3. And this one last dimension should be 29. Alright, now we're gonna go to your features tab, extruded cut, and through all, green check mark. Alright, we got a basic outlay of what we're doing. Now, here are some new tools we're going to be going over. So, rotate it to where you can see the bottom face of the design. Make sure it's the bottom. Alright, you're going to click on the Features tab, Reference Geometry, and you're going to click on Plane. We're going to create our own plane. So, we're going to click on this bottom face of the design. We're going to make sure that the offset distance is 27. So to the center of your circle. And since this is going out, we want it in the center of the circle. So we're going to flip the offset. There we go. Perfectly in the center of your circle. Green check mark. Alright. So now we have a plane where you can draw that's right in the center of your circle. Now, we're going to click on Sketch. Make sure your plane is highlighted. Click on Sketch Tool. In case your plane wasn't highlighted and you clicked on Sketch and it didn't start a new sketch automatically, click on Plane here, or just click on the plane you just created. You want to be drawing on the brand new plane. Alright, now, right here in this little tools that we got, click on Section View. Should be the fourth one from the right, from going from left to right. Section View, and it should automatically open you up. Cut up the design that you're doing to the plane, green check mark, and now we're cutting at the plane. So spacebar, and make sure you can see that section. So there we go. Now we are drawing on the plane we created, and we can see exactly what we're drawing. Alright, so we're going to create a little rectangle just somewhere standard. There we go. Let's see. So make sure you can see these two tabs. These two tabs are from the X we created earlier. Alright, so we're going to draw Alright, so on your, it's going to be opposite to the X, but do not make it, hear me out, do not make it coincident to this line. You don't want to do that. It's going to make you suffer a lot more. So just draw it, tiny little square, just like that. Not coincident to anything. It's not fixed. Alright, so now we're going to use the Smart Dimension tool. This is where you have to pay close attention to your dimensions. look at where you're, pay attention to what you're seeing, try to figure out what everything means. So I know that this top edge, this right edge is going to be 1.5. Now this bottom edge is going to be 1. Let me tell you why. 1 millimeter. Oh. One millimeter. Okay. Why? Because this radius, the radius that we're going to cut off is 20. But the radius of the circle is 38. So that means that it's taking away 1 millimeter from each side. That's why we're going to dimension the little square to 1 millimeter. Alright? Okay. So we're going to use construction lines to figure out how we're going to do this. So use a construction line, click on the edge of the design, but again, make it coincident to the edge, but not to a point. Alright? Very clear on that. Coincident to the edge, but not to a point. So again, all these lines. Now make this line parallel to the bottom edge. Alright, you see that? There we go. Parallel to your bottom edge, and connect the third line to the bottom edge. There we go. Alright. Now, Smart Dimension tool. From here, from this center line to this back of the design, which is where the X is at, is 27. The length, this top length is 19, because it's half the diameter of your circle. If your circle's 38, you wanted this to be 19. Okay. And then this line is 21. Again, take a moment, place close attention to your dimensions, try to figure out why I'm doing each one. So make sure this construction line is horizontal. Yeah, so you just gotta pay attention to how the plane is that we're drawing on it. Okay, so that has to be horizontal. Perfect. And make sure that it's coincident to this other point. So if it didn't do it when you clicked on that edge, just go now. SolidWorks just wants to be crazy right now with my computer. There we go. Now that's connected. Alright. Sorry about that. You might have an easier time. My computer is just right now, I think it's just overheating. So click on this last center line and to the edge of the design. That's going to be a distance of 33.5. There we go. Now your design is dimensioned. So we're going to go to features and we're going to use revolve cut. Okay. Now, as your axis of revolution, you're going to click on this bottom construction line. Green check mark. There we go. You should have a tab that cuts through perfectly circular to the entire plane. Again, go to your section view and click on it so you can actually get out of it. There we go. You see, now we have a tab that perfectly cuts through both sides. Now we're gonna go features tab, reference geometry again. We're gonna make another plane, but this time you're gonna click on your right face and you're gonna distance it a 33.5 millimeters. And again, flip the offset so it goes into your design. Green check mark. Okay, now we're gonna use another feature, the mirror feature. So go to features tab, next to reference geometry, should be right on the bottom, mirror feature. So mirror, face, and plane, that's the plane we're gonna actually mirror it over. So we're gonna use the new plane we created. Features to mirror, so go up here to where you see this little Tetris, yellow Tetris sign, click on the arrow, and we're gonna click on revolve cut. That's the feature we just created. Green check mark. Now you see we have two perfect tabs identical to each other. Perfect. Okay. Another last tool I'm gonna present to you guys is the hole wizard. So we're gonna use features tab, click on hole wizard. Alright. Okay. So you're gonna click on hole. Very simple. Make sure you're in standard ANSI metric. Type dowel hole and size. These are standard sizes that they have. Click on 6 if you want to, but we're gonna be changing it up. So make sure the fit nominal and click on show custom sizing. So we're actually gonna put it to 6.3. Perfect. And your end condition is going to be up to next. So it won't go through the entire design, but it'll go up to the next cut section. So now we're gonna position it. Okay, so we're gonna click it on the top face and just put it like around the middle. Alright, now we're going to use your center lines. Make sure they go from the center of what to the edge. Perfectly vertical and perfectly horizontal. And perfectly horizontal to the edge of the design. Click on the little Tetris arrow so you could remove that from your face. Alright, now we're going to smart dimension It's going to be a distance of 33.5. And I believe this top one is 8.3. Green check mark. Green check mark to the hole position. There we go. We have a hole that cuts through the top but not through the bottom. Perfect. We got the design, and SolidWorks is just slow. It actually applied my material. So now to check how much mass it weighs. So go to the evaluate tab. You're gonna click on mass properties. Alright, so my mass shows as 1,127.720 grams. So that's actually on our sheet. That's perfect. What is the overall mass of our parts in grams? D, 1,127.72. Perfect. Alright guys, that concludes workshop 3. Thank you for tuning in.